Let us develop an app that demonstrates the problem of script injection attacks and how the use of templates prevents the problem from arising in our apps. So let me create a database table. So I go into models and I create a very simple table. For instance, I can do db define table. I call the table attack, why not? And I can have a single field that is my content of type text, okay? And this will be enough for the attack. Then I want a controller where people can insert content in this table, okay? So I will create an add controller that I can use. Action add. Action uses db auth and add.html, okay, and def add. So I want the method to be both get and post. So method is equal to get but also post, so that I can process the form and also return it. I should also import the form from py for web utils form, import form, so that I can create forms and also form style Bulma. Okay, so here I can create a form for adding content. Form is equal to a form built on the db table db.attack. Okay, this is a database table, and I can say form style is equal to form style Bulma. Okay, good, and I can at the end say return a dictionary containing the form. Okay, I need to create a view for the page as well. And if the form is accepted, so if form.accepted, I want to go to back to the index URL. Okay, the index URL, I want it to be more innocuous than this, and I just wanted to say div thank you for visiting. Okay, and I can also include a button like you may want to here I put a comma, and then I put a link to view our products. I want a space there, they're not automatically provided. View our content. Okay, and so this is an href, so a link that goes to a URL that is to the controller view simply. Okay, so this is just a generic index page that I created just not to have a page that doesn't do anything special. Essentially, this is a page that enables me to add the content, and then I wanted in the view page that is action view. So the method will be simply get, so the default action.uses db auth and view.html def view, and in this page I simply want to return all the content of the database. So I simply want to say something like rows is equal to db.attack select. Okay, and I wanted to generate one div per row, and so I do something like content is equal to a list of div row dot, I called it, how did I call it? In models.py I called it my content, the field, right? So I have to say r.mycontent. So I generate a div with this content for row in rows. Okay, and then I do return a dictionary content is equal to content. So content in this case, well, maybe let me give a more interesting name, like content list. Okay, is equal to this content here. So I remember it's a list. Now I need to generate these two pages for add and for view. Let's do it. It's a good exercise. So what I'm gonna do is first, make a couple of copies of this index page. So one is gonna be called view, and I add it to Git, certainly. And the other one is gonna be called add. Okay. So let's look at them. The add page just needs to display a form. It's very primitive, really. So I simply go here and I say I want to display a form. The view page, on the other hand, I have this content list, right? So I need to say something like for C in content list. Okay. And then I wanna output C. Okay, so I output that div, and then I simply say pass to close the for loop. Okay, this will lay out the content list that is generated here. Okay, so this code should work. Let me save it, restart Python Web. Or actually, before I do that, you may want to view our content. And let me add or, and so the index page will link to both pages. It will be convenient. Add to it. Okay, and this has an href that is a URL to the method add. Okay, so when I go to the main page, and I can even do this, so it has even a full stop out of the last link. So if I reload these, if I reload Python Web, I should always check that there are no errors here. Okay, I go to it, I reload the home page. Okay, and this gives me, thank you for visiting, you may view our content or add to it. So if I view the content, well, I see exactly nothing because there is no content. So assume that there is a first user that comes by and that clicks on add to it. The user gets this form and I can say, I am very happy. Okay, submit. Okay, and you are sent to the home page. Now, if you click on view our content, you can see I am very happy. Okay, that's incredibly good. And it works. Now, let me show you how an attack works. So if I say add to it and I say script, you let down your defenses. Okay, close the script. Well, this is not quite enough. I want this to be the text of my alert. So I have to say alert, open, okay, close, and semicolon. So I've created essentially an open script and a closed script tag that I can enclose HTML JavaScript code. And in it, I just put this alert code that should pop up a notice that says you let down your defenses. Let's see whether this hack actually works. So I click on submit. Okay. Nothing happens. But then when another user comes in and they ask to view the content, well, everything works. Why does everything work? Because in truth, this script here is safe encoded by the templating language. In fact, it's really a little bit difficult to see what gets sent to the web page. But if we do inspect element, the inspection of the element is still kind enough that it tells us this. So we may be fooled into believing that this is the actual content of the web page. This is a bit unfortunate. The debugging tools are a little bit too helpful. However, if we go into the network tab, and if we reload this page, and if we look actually at what we got, the raw response, okay, there is a way to not say preview, but actually look at the payload, and the payload contains these. So there is all these yada yada, right? But in the middle there is, you see, this is the quoted, let me make it larger. This is the quoted text. So you see, it's not sent with an open and close script tag. It is sanitized, it is safe quoted by the template. Okay, the quote is also quoted. So both the open tag, the closed, the lower than, the greater than, and the quotes are both safe quoted by the templating language. And the safe quoting happens because I used here a div tag. Okay? And the div tags and all other tags and all other ways of inserting text in a template safe quote the text to prevent attacks. Okay? So it is extremely important that you do not manufacture HTML code yourself, but you rely on the templating language, because the templating language contains these methods for making sure that what you display on a web page will not interfere with the web page. And if you want to see the problem in action, you have nothing to do but to change this in an XML tag. The XML tag is the only one that does not quote the content and so has special uses. You should not use it unless you really know what you're doing. And you should especially never use it, as we are doing now, to render content that is not under your control, such as content that comes from the database. Because if you do this, look at what happens. I can rerun these, okay? I can go to the index page here if I like. Okay, so instead of view I can go to index. Okay, I'm a new user, I'm unaware of what is going on. Other users have put in content, I have no idea. Now I click on view our content, and I get this. I get this pop-up that I let down my defenses. Why? Well, if we want to see it, we can go to the network tab now. We can look at the response payload, and we can see that this time the script is not safe quoted, and so this is generating actually the pop-out. So this essentially enables a user to insert arbitrary JavaScript in the database, and then if one is not careful by using the XML tag or by using the content without safe quoting, that JavaScript would get into the web page and cause an attack, right? So XML tags are dangerous, you should use them with extreme caution, and you should always let the templating language be the one that generates the HTML. Now if I replace this with a div again, everything will be safe again. Okay, I can restart this page. I can reload it. Okay, here I can reload it, and now there is no more problem. And in fact, if you go in the request again, one more time, I guess, but if you look at it, you will see that this time it's again safe quoted, right? So the morale is let the templating language generate the content, and never use the XML tag unless the content of the XML tag is something either static that you wrote yourself, or something that by construction, and you're truly sure, can never contain dangerous tags.